Hey guys, welcome back to FIFA 22 Fuenlabrada Career Mode, and today this is a very big episode because I will unveil something in the end, or probably you guys would want to find out what will happen in the end. But hey, we are heading towards pretty much the end of May, which means we have 5 games remaining, and of course we're still fighting for that playoff spot. Yes, it's not perfect, it's not automatic playoffs, but you know what? The fact that what we did to the team for the past month has been incredible. Of course, we have quite a lot of incomings and, of course, a lot of outgoings too. But of course, it is just part of the journey. It is going to be amazing. It's going to be fun as well. But of course, right now we are just trying to give it a little bit more of some fire towards the end, because again, it's not a perfect season. I believe we lost a lot of games. At the same time, we draw a lot of games where there are games where we should have won the game. Instead, we decided to bottle it in the end. And right here, of course, we have earlier on, you guys see pretty much our youth report. Of course, still looking good. Of course, the only player that I'm actually looking forward to sending up, or seeing you called up, it's probably the defender, our goalkeeper, Juandas. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. Of course, he is currently with overall rating of 60, but of course, with pretty much with his potential, I think he could be a pretty good player for the team. Which means if I need to send up a goalkeeper, which means I do not need Moro in the next season. Yes, Moro has been quite good for us. There are a lot of games where he saved us a lot of times, but other than that, he made a few mistakes before where I thought, you know what, there's some saves, or there's some situation where I think he could have done better. But again, as a 28-year-old, 68 rated, you can't really ask for much at that point. So I just kind of leave it out there for you guys. So of course, last 5 games going to be very important. Of course, we are still trying to fight for the playoff spot, as I said it before. And the only team that we're actually fighting against is actually Girona. Apparently, we pretty much have the same point as them, or maybe we are a point or 2 points ahead of him. But of course, at the same time, there's a glitch in FIFA where, despite sharing the same points, but the goal difference is just a little bit messed up. Our team have a much higher goal difference than Girona. Unfortunately, the game doesn't really register that, which means the only way that we should do much better at this point. Look, you can look at the screen right now on the standings. It's to try to win the majority of games. Hopefully, Girona is going to slip up, but of course, at the same time, we're not a team where we rely on other people's results, but instead we got to do well on our part. And of course, there's one thing that I always or I want to address is probably the 4 loanees that their contract is about to expire, which means next season our squad is going to be a little bit more thin than before, which is going to be a problem for us, because given that the circumstances, we don't know what's the budget for next season, and of course the number of signings that we can acquire. But right now it's really not really a case of concern at this point, where just gotta win all the games. If we get promoted, we're definitely gonna get a large sum of money. But right here, second game of today's episode, we're playing against Real Sociedad B team. Unfortunately, we already gave up 2 goals right there. It is a very heartbreaking scene to see, because again, great save by Moro, but it just very unlucky where the ball just kind of ricochets off the goalkeeper back to the striker, who scores the goal. And right there, Baldini could have made the chance to scoring that 1 goal right there. But again, when you're losing quite a bit, like in this situation, I feel like the game wouldn't even help you. Like even right here, Guzman just somehow couldn't convert that one to a goal. And you know what? Even if we can't score that goal, we already know that this game is not for us. And right there, it is a good save by goalkeeper by using his face right there. In the end, losing 2-0, it is going to be painful, but we still have 3 games to go. And right there, Girona also slipped up, and this is stuff that I want to talk about. It's just that when other teams slipped up, we slipped up, and And I know a lot of teams in real life where they kind of rely on others, people's, or other teams' result in order to gain an advantage, or get an advantage in general. But right here is the third game of today's episode. We are playing against Lugo, I believe, and we scored the very first goal right here in the 7 minutes. Pretty much Navarro opened up the score again. He is pretty much the main piece, the important piece of our attack for upcoming season, because I can see him staying with this team pretty much towards the end, whether he will be a starter or non-starter in the future. But right here in the 29th minute, Ilias could have made a chance to 2-0, but unfortunately good save by the goalkeeper. Here comes Navarro, here comes Pedro Ortiz, take a shot, but good save by the goalkeeper. And yes, 5 loanies are leaving. Of course, the majority of them are pretty much the first team players that we have, of course, including the likes of Baldini, Tashi, who else? I believe Pedro Ortiz as well. Moro. I believe these 4 players are pretty much key for us. Next season is going to be a very tough window for us in order to for rebuild. But of course, nothing is very determined at this point. Where if we know the budget, then we will know how capable we are in the transfer window. But right now, we can't really say a lot because again, it's just very restricted at this point. And here comes at 80th minute. Here comes Adrian Gonzalez, a very unlikely goal scorer. He is going to leave the club at the end of the season, I believe, through retirement or just his contract is up. Again, our team is pretty much very it's pretty old, a very old team. A couple of them have is reaching like 35 or 34, and of course they'll be leaving the club as well. And right here, even though we have 2 games to spare, and we are, you guys can see the glitch right there with the goal difference 21 with Corona 16. We're sharing the same points, but goal difference it's massively different, which means we have to win the remaining of the 2 games 100% for sure in order to actually make a chance right there. So right there, 2 you players are feeling unsettled. Of course, finally Cifuentes he is finally being called up. And of course, the second player is Danny Garcia, 57 rated central midfielder with a potential tag. I don't know if it's a potential tag, but hopefully there's a potential tag from 81 to 87. Of course, not very good, but you know what? At this point, with the career mode, with the objective that we are trying to achieve, I think it's pretty much good enough. So Cifuentes right there showing good tag. Showing great potential or an exciting prospect. But of course, for the remainder of the 2 seasons, definitely will not be using him at this point because, again, trying to play safe, trying to go all out attack. But there's one change that I made in this game. It's that Danny Garcia, our newly called up youth player, is going to play his first senior appearance for the club. And of course, feeling very happy with him. Of course, at the same time, very controversial. I've also have 2 central midfielders who are lining up to start this game, but of course I'm going against the odds. Hopefully Danny Garcia can add a little bit of dynamics in the middle, and of course he is more of a fragile player compared to Pedro Ortiz. And right there in the first game, in the 4th game, or the last 2 games of this episode, we are playing against Sporting, and unfortunately we allowed them to equalize that one. Baldini scored the first goal, a very scrappy goal in general, but it's a goal nonetheless. And here comes in the 39th minute, here comes Garcia, one-on-one with goalkeeper pretty much, and he introduced himself in a perfect manner. Needed him the most in the central midfielder area, where he just converts that one into a goal, and we have overtaking the lead once again, 2-1. I feel very happy for Danny Garcia. Of course, it's still the first game for him. We'll never know about his future with the club, but we'll see. Here comes Baldini, good turn, but good save by the goalkeeper right there. In the 87th minute, we just need to hold on into 5 minutes in order to grab the win. Here comes Navarro, take a shot, but good save. Actually, no, not good save, but good goal by Navarro. And right there, we won the game 3-1. Very happy result in general, but of course, more happy for Danny Garcia scoring his first goal in his first ever senior appearance, 3-1 against Sporting. And right now, looking at the table right here, Corona, we have 1 game in hand right there, but of course you never know what Corona can do. And Corona, it's 2 more games, and right there, Corona slipped up. So and they're 2 points behind, which means we have to 100% win this game in order to qualify for the playoff. But of course, you would never know because FIFA generally they have an algorithm where they turn games into like very very difficult all of a sudden. And right here, we're playing against our last game of this season against CD Mirandes. And of course, this is going to be a very, very fun game. At the same time, it is going to be a lot of pressure. We are all putting everything out there for the win. And here comes the first chance for Mirandes, but the header went over the bar. And here comes in the 37 minutes. We haven't really found a lot of chances here. We're being outnumbered pretty much right here. This is a very silly goal to concede. Yes, I know the goalkeeper could have stayed back, but at the same time, the way how the ball bounces here and there was a little bit weird, and not quite sure if I actually like conceding that goal because again that was a very scrappy goal, and we're 1-0 down. We need 2 goals in order to qualify for the playoff. And here comes Altaveros inside the box of Baldini, take a shot, good goal right there. And finally we equalize as we have approximately 25 minutes to go, including extra time. And of course there's no time for celebration. We gotta pick up the ball and trying to keep going. Here comes Garcia, having very quiet, and here comes Baldini, take a shot, but it was just a little bit off. But again, his weaker right foot, I believe, is only 2-star, 3-star, so can't really. He should have done better in general. And in the 80th minute, here comes Lopez, and everybody just like kind of like. It is a very scrap. Again, it's just sometimes our defense, it's like so poor. And of course, for the past few games, we have been doing all right, I would say. But in that situation, that moment, that pretty much ruined everything. And of course, there's so much space in between us and also the attacker. And of course, here comes pretty much last minute right there. Moore has to force to make a save, and we still have pretty much 2 minutes to spare. And there you go, guys. We lost the game, and the only way that to make us into the playoffs is actually hopefully a Corona lose. But unfortunately, they won the game, and we lost the game, and we actually bottled it. We can finally say this. Yes, we did a bottlers in the end, and which means we will not be qualified for the playoffs, which means in the next season we'll be staying in the La Liga Smart Bank. And of course, I'm pretty sure I disappoint the most of my viewers, but hey, you know what, given the squad that we have, honestly it's not perfect at all, I can say. But the only thing that I could say is pretty much we have to move forward. We have to do much better for the for next season. But of course, at this moment, you know what, we just gotta put everything behind. It's just it is a very tough season in general. Of course, when I'm playing this career mode, there's so many moments where I was like, swearing and stuff like that because I thought it was like completely ridiculous in terms of there's some moments where it could have been prevented if we have a much better squad in terms of quality and also the number the squad depth that we are. But looking at the objectives, we pretty much completed everything except we need to sign one veteran player, which honestly I just completely ignored that part of the game. But anyway, looking at the squad report right here, of course there's so many players that you see right here where I actually never used them, which is really really funny. But of course, you know what? Finally, you guys can finally see how or the player's name that we have. Like for example, like David Amigo. I never heard of this guy's name. I actually went down and checked, and so we do have a few decent young players. But of course, you know what? I know I have much better options out there than anything else. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just ignore that part of the game. But of course, this season we have called up 5 youth players in total. Not good enough, and I believe none of them well, at least I think it's pretty it's not very nice to say, but I think they haven't really shown their stuff yet, of course. But we recently called up 2 youth players. Hopefully they're going to be very very good for us in the next season, and we are heading towards the end of this episode. And of course, this is officially a season 1 finale, and of course didn't work out as much as I want to, but again, I'm not going to give up until we find a little bit of success with the team. But of course, next season it is going to be, again, a very tough season as well. But hopefully we will, climb back on top and do much better. Hopefully aiming for the automatic promotion or getting a champion next season. But we will see at this point. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in a bit.